Hello, everyone, and welcome to Democracy Apparently. Hope you're all well. Thanks for joining us. That lying, devious snake Keir Starmer is secretly negotiating to get the UK back into the EU through the back door. And you have no say in the matter, despite the 2016 Brexit vote. Take a look at this.
Let's talking out over policing, rules and regulations. Keir Starmer, he's at it again, Brendan. I mean, it seems that this man, it's clearly in his DNA. We know that. He wouldn't refute the suggestion that he's massively pro-EU and rather we hadn't left. The bit that he's missing in that story is that we have left. 2016 was a democratic vote. We voted to leave, not to rejoin by instalments.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. He himself wouldn't deny that he is an EU file at heart. He's always loved the European Union. He's always wanted to be part of it. You know, let's not forget, then when he was in Jeremy Corbyn's shadow cabinet and he was the Brexit minister or whatever they called it, his whole shtick, Keir Starmer's whole shtick was to get us back in. He wanted to cancel the referendum and have a second referendum, which would have meant voiding the largest vote in the history of this country. He wanted to drag us back either entirely or bit by bit, and he's now doing the same thing. Despite having promised a couple of years ago that Brexit was over and he wasn't going to sell it out, that is what he's doing. You know, piece by piece, he's dragging us under EU rules that MPs, the Commons potentially won't even be allowed to vote on. And I think that's a betrayal of what we Britons voted for.
We were told that Brexit was done, and they swore to honour the will of the people after the vote in 2016. It was a calculated deception. Now, behind closed doors, Keir Starmer is executing a silent coup against the vote, and the evidence is undeniable. This video exposes his plot to reverse Brexit step by treacherous step without ever having the courage to ask for your permission. The heart of this betrayal is what they call dynamic alignment. It's a harmless sounding phrase designed to hide a dagger. Starmer's government plans a common sanitary and phytosanitary area. Bit of a mouthful, but what it basically is, it's forcing Britain to permanently copy and paste EU law on food and farming. And they claim it's for trade, but it's a surrender of the very sovereignty you voted for. The UK will be reduced to a rule taker, not a rule maker, bound by laws written in Brussels where we have no vote and no veto. This isn't trade, it's a national humiliation orchestrated without your consent. But the betrayal deepens, because publicly they insist freedom of movement will never return, but their actions expose the lie. Secret negotiations for a youth mobility scheme are underway, sold as a simple cultural exchange. But the truth is in the details Brussels is demanding. A longer 4-year deal and no hard cap on numbers. This isn't a cultural programme, it's a Trojan horse, a backdoor deal to resurrect the freedom of movement and demolish the borders the British people voted to secure. Not that we've got secure borders at all, because, as we know, they are pouring across the English Channel in small boats, and this pathetic government and this pathetic leader, Starmer, has done nothing about it. But it's a deliberate betrayal of a core Brexit promise happening without any public debate or mandate. And the worst thing about it is that we're the ones footing the bill for his betrayal. Every step back towards Brussels is paid for by you and the taxpayer, without your approval. The government has already committed the UK to rejoining Erasmus Plus in 2027, costing taxpayer £570 million in the first year alone. And now they're negotiating to bind us to the EU's carbon and electricity markets. And these are not separate deals, they are calculated payments in a coordinated strategy to dismantle Brexit piece by piece. And all while you're supposed to be looking the other way. The morons in Brussels are punishing us for leaving the EU in the first place. They hate the UK for having left and are punishing us with even higher fees than we paid when we were members previously. They will allow us to join, but we'll have no say in rulemaking and no veto in any rules. It's a poor deal and a total sellout by Starmer. Dynamic alignment, backdoor freedom of movement, Hundreds of millions of your money sent to Brussels. This isn't a new relationship. It's a despicable betrayal of the largest democratic mandate in British history. It is a calculated plot to drag the UK back under EU control, one surrender at a time, all without giving you a say in the matter. Their entire scheme relies on your silence. Don't give it to them. Now, is this a pragmatic future you voted for, or the ultimate betrayal? Tell us in the comments. And if you agree that the will of the people must be respected, like this video, share it and subscribe to help us fight the agenda they are so desperate to hide. Thanks for watching. Your support is very appreciated. If you're not a subscriber, hit that subscribe button before you leave. It just helps us to be able to continue producing content that you are enjoying. Thanks very much. Enjoy the rest of your day.